Alright, hello everyone and welcome to a breakdown of what is the best build for Mythic Plus dungeons as particularly high keys and particularly if you are pugging your keys, as in you're not rolling with a pre-made group that you know the people, you know exactly what kind of damage they're going to take, you coordinate your defenses. No, this is not that kind of build. This is a burst with a little bit of damage Mythic Plus build. And I will show you my, at the point of this video, I'm 3341, and this is pre-boost, so that's very high. And I'm ranked about 2,000 overall in terms of Resto Druids out there. I've got a few 16s completed, and all 15s now, 15 Resil I just got today. And this was all done, essentially the higher keys, all done with all pug groups. And so it took a lot of attempts. And so I've learned a lot of tricks along the way. And really what broke through the ceiling of me getting stuck at around 14s and then progressing all the way up to 16s was really this build. Okay, so prior to this build, I was rolling a very typical heal over time, a massive output build, but now it's not even just massive output, super strong heal over times. It's got, of course, heal over times, but its emphasis is on burst heal using regrowth plus nature's swiftness. Nature's swiftness makes your regrowth an instant class, or your rebirth, or your entangling roots. But having nature's swiftness, you only get one of them. It's a 1 minute recharge. But if you talent for Twin Leaf right here, you'll get 2 charges. And so with those 2, you get 2 charges of nature's swiftness on a 1 minute cooldown. And then with this one, you make the regrowth that you get from the nature's swiftness 35% stronger. When you couple this with abundant stacks, which means that for every rejuvenation you have on one of your party members, you're going to get cost reduction, which is great for mana, but your critical chance goes up by 8%, up to a maximum of 96%. What you're going to get... Okay, so I'm going to put 2 rejuvenations on every one of my 5 party members, and then I'm going to cast a nature's swiftness with a regrowth, and that is just a single button click for me due to my macro. And that was, how big was that? God, I didn't even see it. Something huge. 2 abundant stacks, 1 and 2, like it's just on myself even. Check it out, single click, 3.89, essentially 3.9 million heal, okay, single target. And that was huge. Why? Because in Mythic Dungeons right now, the damage is very spiky, as in someone will go from 100% health to 10% health easily at high keys, like 15 keys is usually when this occurs, particularly when people do not stack versatility. And thus you need to top them off quickly before any other kind of damage comes in. And this is really important in pug keys when you don't know the other teammates, you don't know if they're going to use their defensives, you don't know when they're thinking about using their defensives, and thus you just have to always keep those health bars high, right? And so that is the key point of the build. And how that differs from a lot of other builds that I saw, even a lot of top druids, at least until recently, was a lot of them used to run, instead of the Nature Swiftness combo of 3 talents here, they went this way. They went your Sarah's Gift, healing you for 3% of your maximum health every 5 seconds, and then making it your Swiftmen do a little more healing, which is your instant cast heal that empowers other spells. And then your Sarah's Gift now heals every 4 seconds, and it does more. And it's supposed to be like a bigger punch for doing nothing. So this is like a passive healing trait. But the interesting thing is in that in Mythic Plus dungeons, like heal over times are great, but again, since it's not, your health bars don't drop gradually usually, and your other heal over times are great at handling that, like your rejuvenations, your wild growth, and your life blooms, that this is not really that meaningful. What really matters is this, because when the boss AoE damage comes, you're going to be popping Nature's Swiftness, and you're going to wish you had more of them when you're using them, okay? Now, other key points of this build, I would say everything else is pretty standard. Put your heal over times on the party. Use your burst heals when people are in trouble, which will make you do great healing and can essentially counter raid-wide damage. One extra tip for using Convoke is to use a Nature's Swiftness right before it, and there is a bug or glitch that is still not has been fixed to this day, where if you cast Nature's Swiftness right before the Convoke, it'll make all regrowths that are cast from this empowered regrowths. Empowered at this 35% extra too, by the way. And so super powerful. And so it's a kind of a nasty bug that's just never been fixed, but we abuse it when we can. And so Convoke, if you're not aware, makes you cast random 12 spells. They can be damage spells, they can be heal spells, but when you hit a regrowth and you use Nature's Swiftness right before, they're going to be bam, strong regrowth. So it's just another way to make sure your Convoke is good. But to be honest, I don't do it that often because I find that Convoke with your heal over times is enough, even on raid-wide damage. One interesting thing to note here is that on Tranquility, we don't have any bonus abilities for Tranquility. This area of the tree is the Tranquility piece. And so Tranquility is your oh crap button, your second one in regards to Convoke. I would call your Nature's Swiftness oh crap buttons as well, as in you hit these when you are in trouble. Tranquility is great on its own. If you take Dream State, it'll make the cooldown of your Convoke, if you use Convoke before Tranquility, 20 seconds faster, which is huge. We use Convoke for damage and for heals, so that's great. And then this one makes you stronger. You get damage reduction when you cast. If you really wanted to and you have another point, I would say Dream State is a good choice. I used to roll with this. Now, I roll with Grove Gardens here. This is where I would take the 1 point from to put into Dream State, and this is kind of where I'm kind of back and forth. Grove Gardens is when you cast it on your party member who has heal over times, essentially he's going to cast a Swiftman on your target, which is a pretty good heal. It's 220,000 it says here on the tooltip, but it's a notable little heal when I'm doing it on someone. And then it'll also cast Nourish, just another little heal over time as well. And the beauty of it is it costs pretty much like not a whole lot of mana, but the beauty of it is that you can cast it instantly on the go. And so there's not a lot of spells that you can do that with, right? A lot of things you have to sit and cast that are meaningful, like Nature's Swiftness is the other thing you can cast on the go. You can cast your heal over time, but those don't really give you massive instant heal when someone's in trouble. So Grove Gardens is a nice way just to get a little bit extra heal when you're running around. Particularly useful in the spider boss of City of Echoes when you're hit with a Gossamer and you just have to move and heal. So this has been helpful, but I could totally see you dropping Grove Guardians for Dream State right here. Okay, definitely. On the left side, there are some things you can mess with. If you don't like Nature's Vigil, I do like Nature's Vigil because if you look at my damage done, that was like all my damage and I didn't like do anything. It just click it. It's like it's macroed into my healing. And so it just like, it's just there. And that was 24% of my damage from doing nothing except healing. So I like that. Just gives me a little bit of damage so I don't look like an idiot on the meters is bad. So I do like that point here. What you can do is how this differs from the top Resto Druids build. This build is copied from Seraphine XD. How this build differs is that instead of me choosing this one, Fluid Form, which makes you shapeshift into forms easier, then I choose this one, Ursine Vigor, which makes it that for 4 seconds after shifting your bear form, your health and armor are increased by 15%, because I use bear form a lot, and I love how strong I am in bear form when countering a whole bunch of abilities that hit me. And I have a crap ton of versatility. I have like 30% versatility when I use a versatility flask. And if you don't like this one, what a lot of people do is they'll take that one, and they'll also take Thrash for more damage. For the build, going over the macro that makes this build helpful. What I do have my Nature's Swiftness bound to a Q. I never press that key. And because it's like when I'm doing the Nature's Swiftness regrowth, it has to be a super fast heal because the whole point is someone almost died. I have to get them back up quick. I don't have time to go Nature's Swiftness, then click regrowth on someone. That takes too long. But I could do that. I could go Nature's Swiftness, and then my regrowth, which is my Shift F button or Shift click button. And so I just did that. But an easier way I can do it is I can literally just click on my unit frame, and it just did it. A huge heal right there. Okay. And how did I do that? Well, it's right here. It's just a simple macro /cast Nature's Swiftness. I did put my nature's vigil in here. I don't know if that's really that necessary. I just put it in there. And then slash cast regrowth. So your macro could just be slash cast nature swiftness, slash cast regrowth. And you should have a semicolon. I'll put this in the description below. But then not only that, so how I make that work, I use cell for healing, unit frames. And so I go to Clique castings, and then I have to choose, oh, wait, no, I don't do it through this one. No, I don't do it through this one. And so I have two Clique casting methods. And so I have Clique casting. It's the actual name of the add-on. So if I go to add-ons, it is Clique, CLIQUE. And so I go to options, key bindings, Clique casting, and then I can pull that macro I made by going in here and dragging it over, and then choosing this as my left click. So instead of targeting someone, like left click to target someone, my left click is instant heal. It's using that macro, okay, that nice burst macro. Yet for this build, one thing that is straight mandatory is, and we're talking about the fine tuning now to make sure you can do 15 plus keys. To do a 15 plus key, 15 to 16, you're probably going to want a very similar item level. Probably 714, 712 is okay. Of course, it depends on your gear. But what is huge is versatility. So check out my versatility. I have 27% versatility. And if I use a big, expensive flask, I'm seeing a 31% versatility. It makes me do more damage and healing, but then it reduces the damage I take by 15%, and that is what saves my life. If you go into a 15 key with 0% versatility, you will be one-shot by many, many, many things, okay? That 15% is huge. And so very dangerous if I don't have a paladin in a 15 priority, for example. I would honestly probably want, and I'm going to get rid of this, I would like 30% versatility without the flask. And then I'd maybe even use a verse flask on top of that. I'm not sure how much it's going to help, maybe 1 or 2%, but that 1 or 2% might be the difference between me living and dying, at least with the current item levels. Post boost, when we have like 720 item level, those things aren't going to matter at a 15 or 16 key, but eventually you're going to hit a key where it will matter, okay? Now in terms of haste, I have 23,000 haste. I think this is too high. I would like this around 21 to 22,000. I just don't want to spend the gold to do that when I'm going to craft something next week. Mastery, I would say this is the minimum. You probably want a little higher, 13,780. This will make it so that your healing will be more for every heal over time you have on someone, and so the more heal over times you have on someone, the more healing you get from this. So even a 2 or 3% increase of this means a lot when you put 3 or 4 heal over times on someone, okay? But generally, you should be prioritizing haste and versatility. Haste, 20,000 is a good marker for, you're probably all right to start stacking verse hardcore, okay? You do need verse to do keys. You will die. You also want to stack avoidance as much as possible. I saw Seraphine XD, the top Resto Druid, has like 8% avoidance or something. I just can't get that on any more gear. But get avoidance where you can. The more, the better. Reduces damage you take from AoE effect attacks, which is a lot of Mythic plus dungeon mechanics. Okay, and so the last huge thing for this build is Lumithar's Living Silk. Okay, now I have a crappy one. I have been raiding since the raid came out, and I just haven't been lucky in getting a heroic version of Lumithar's Living Silk. This trinket is so overpowered. I can't believe people don't talk about this more. It gives you haste, which is important. You lose intellect on this trinket, but the interesting thing is that you really just need to hit certain stat marks here. I feel like intellect, yes, you would lose like 6,000 intellect, but is it really that big a deal when you're getting some major things here that are going to help you out a lot? I don't know. So having this stat versus intellect, I like better. But not only that, when you click this, it'll make it so that you weave a cocoon around yourself and your whole party in a mythic dungeon, and you reduce everyone's damage they take by 75% until 4.5 million damage is prevented. That is absolutely huge. This saves your party. You use this in the beginning of a huge pool when you don't have heal over times on your party. I even have a champion one, and I'm able to do 16 keys, okay? And so you'll be just fine picking up even a champion version of this, and it's going to make a huge difference, all right? I wish I had better because it soaks up more damage, but this is just fine even at high keys right now, okay? So huge. Everything else is pretty, pretty standard. The Reshi wraps you have to have, and the interesting to note is that I do not have Reshi boots. The Reshi wrap ability is humongous. Your helpful spells and abilities have a chance to gather dormant energy to heal an ally for 2 million. That's a lot of healing. And overhealing gives you an absorb shield. And so if you have the Reshi boots that you get from the Unlucky and raid on this character, and I haven't missed a single raid like since this thing has been out. So extremely unlucky for me, but know that you don't need it to heal 16 keys, assuming you're doing things correctly, okay? And we will put out videos for all of these dungeons as I progress, all right? Otherwise, everything else is pretty straightforward. You can check out my gear if you want on like WoW character search and all that good stuff. But again, what this build emphasizes is burst. I think that's it. If you have any questions, leave that in the description below. I know this was a long video, but I hope it helped. I will be putting out videos showing you how to utilize this build for each dungeon as I do them and progress higher in keys. Thank you everyone for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.